My videos came up on my phone.
Focus making is so hard for me to dislike the antagonist.
Dislike what?
The book is making it hard for me to dislike the antagonist.
Oh, that?
Yes.
Wait, what? Oh, wait, I'm
I
sorry.
know, I am.
Sorry.
But I just finished the chapter. But I'm just like, I feel, because I've seen the movie, so I know what happens. But like, the book is making it hard for me to dislike the antagonist. Yeah.
Okay, take out your Bibles and open them up to Matthew 21. Matthew 21. And somebody please volunteer to read verses 23 through 27.
When he entered the temple, the chief priests and the elders of the people came up to him as he was teaching. He said, "By what authority are you doing these things? And who gave you this authority?" Jesus answered them, "I will also ask you one question, and if you tell me the answer, then I also will tell you by what authority I do these things. The baptism of John, from where did it come? From heaven or from man?" And they discussed it among themselves, saying, "If we say from heaven, he will say to us, 'Why then did you not believe in him?' But if we say from man, we are afraid of the crowd, for they all hold that John was a prophet." So they answered Jesus, "We do not know." And he said to them, "Neither will I tell you by what authority I do this."
Okay, so Jesus is in front of some of the Jewish leadership. They want to know where his authority comes from, and he gives them an answer that they can't answer, or a question that they can't answer. They can't answer it. They actually did have some sort of opinion about John the Baptist, but they refused to answer because either way, whatever they said, yes or no, they were going to be in trouble with someone. Jesus knew that. That's why he asked the question. He knew that would happen. So why would Jesus answer the religious leader's question with another question rather than simply answering it directly? Why didn't he just say it was from God? Yeah. Yeah. He wanted them to think through it and for themselves, right? What else? Yes.
He had already answered.
Yeah, and I can tell you from my own experience, it's if you've already answered a question and somebody asks it again, and I'm not saying any of my students have ever done this, maybe just my children. It's like I already told you that. Or you did. Happens every once in a while. Yes, Jake.
So would you say that the Pharisees didn't deign to answer that question?
Well, I'm going to give you the extra credit because it is in context of what we're talking about, but it isn't the right word because it's not that they're condescending to him; it's that they're afraid of him.
They're just dumb.
Or afraid of the question. But you get the extra credit because good job. Good job noticing it as well. Yeah, he may have known their motivations. I think he certainly did. But was their question sincere? No. Why were they trying to? They're trying to trap him. So I think he didn't deign to answer that question because he knew they were insincere. That they didn't care. They're just trying. Next question. What do the leaders' private discussion and final answer show about the strength of their conviction? Yeah.
Said they worry too much about they worried too much about what other people thought, and they cared more about the public opinion of them than actually getting an answer. Because if they actually wanted an answer, they would have answered Jesus.
Right. But they didn't want to answer because there wasn't.
Yeah, they cared more about public opinion than getting an honest answer.
Yes, Eric. Right. Right, so they copped out on it, right? We are not going to have this conversation now. I'm only using it as a way of kind of understanding this. If we were, and especially in some of my classes, if we were to open up a discussion on who is the GOAT in basketball, in professional, well, there's no question. Now, we're not going to have this conversation. We're not going to have this conversation. But what would happen? Like, some of you would be like, I'm not answering that. I'm going to get yelled at, right? And some of you would say, what is the right answer for everyone else, or just go along with the answer, right? But it is a loaded question, is it not? That's what's happening here. They think they're giving Jesus a loaded question, a question that he cannot answer, and he doesn't answer it, right? He doesn't say if he doesn't give a one way or the other. He asks them a question. It's really brilliant. Yes.
He does answer, just not in the way they want it.
Right. He doesn't. Like the assumed answer, if John's teaching is from God or from wait, what did they ask?
He asked if it was from
From
heaven
God.
or
Yeah, and the answer to answer it, what they're wanting to answer, he has to either say God or man, which he does not do. So in that sense, he didn't answer the question, but he did brilliantly answer. So next, we're going to go to, we did the second one, right? Yeah, okay. So Luke 20, 19 through 26, who wants to read that? Yes.
Scribes and the chief priests sought 19 to 20.
Luke 20,
The
19.
scribes and the chief priests sought to lay hands on him that very hour. They perceived that he had told a parable against them, but they feared the people. So they watched him and set spies who pretended to be sincere, that they might catch him in something he said, to deliver him up to the authority and jurisdiction of the government. So they asked him, Teacher, we know that you speak and teach rightly, show no partiality, but truly teach the way of God. Is it lawful for us to give tribute to Caesar or not? But he perceived their craftiness and said to them, Show me a denarius. Whose likeness and inscription does it have? They said, Caesar's. He said to them, Then render to Caesar the things that are Caesar's, and to God the things that are God's. And they were not able in the presence of the people to catch him in what he said, but marveling at his answer, they became silent.
Good, yeah, very good. So another question, another insincere question, another question that was designed to get Jesus in trouble with the people so the people would no longer want to follow him, would no longer be interested in his teaching. So how is the religious leaders' private plotting different from their public conversation? What are they doing just before this? Plotting to kill him, or at least arrest him. And then what is the first thing they say to Jesus?
We know that you speak and teach rightly.
Do they believe that? No, they don't believe that. They're lying through their teeth, aren't they? They don't believe that at all. So they've been plotting his arrest, and then they flatter him, right? And try to catch him off guard with flattery, but didn't work. Yeah.
I took this a completely different way.
Okay, good.
That when they are talking to him in public, like there might be ones like Nicodemus where they're just genuinely asking questions because they actually want to know. But like when they're other ones, when they're in private, then they are plotting to kill him.
Yes and no. I mean, someone like Nicodemus would be sincere. This doesn't name who's there, but it sure seems like, because of what comes before the conversation, that these are all people that are
Yeah.
like-minded and wanting to arrest Jesus.
I realize that now.
Okay.
But at the time, that was my
No,
answer.
that's fine, because I mean, another situation that could possibly be. What do you think Luke means when he says they marveled or were amazed by his answer? Yes.
They weren't really expecting him to find a way out of their trap. The fact that he was just able to get out of it.
What were you going to say?
They just weren't expecting him to answer them.
Yeah.
It was like out of left field.
They really thought that they had him trapped. And so I don't know what they did afterward, but probably something like, I don't think they went away boasting about that particular conversation. Were you going to say something?
Oh, like they didn't know how to respond.
But who trapped you, right? Yeah. She's not making any noise.
I don't think so.
And if you put your pants, you're gonna have to take her out because I have a very strong nose. So
So what does your little
I
sign say? What does your sign say?
Oh, it says I'm the longest for the Bible pages.
nice. That's great. Yeah, you are. We had named Megan, and we had when the kids were really little. I come home, my kitchen was clean. I'll tell you right now, if you babysit
Clean.
and you clean the kitchen, you will be there. They'll pay you actually like other dad, you know. He's like, yeah, she was great. Anyway, so Mark 12:28 through 34. Somebody read that.
Oh,
Thank you.
And one of the scribes came up and heard them disputing to one another, and seeing that he answered them well, asked him, which commandment is the most important of all? Jesus answered, the most important is, Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one, and you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your mind, and with all your strength. The second is this, you shall love your neighbor as yourself. There is no other commandment greater than these. And the scribe said to him, You are right, teacher. You have truly said that he is one, and there is no other besides him. And to love him with all the heart, and with all the understanding, and with all the strength, and to love one's neighbor as oneself, is much more than all whole burnt offerings and sacrifices. And when Jesus saw that he answered wisely, he said to him, You are not far from the kingdom of God. And after that, no one dared to ask him any more questions.
What do you see? I don't even know what the question is, but what do you see different in this from the others? How is it different from the others?
No.
Okay, so I need one person. Yeah. He really seems sincere, like it's a sincere question. Yeah.
I guess for me, this is more personal to the person asking this question, whereas we just kind of generally personal.
What else? Yeah.
Jesus actually answers this one the way that they wanted him to answer.
Yeah, actually
He gave them
answers.
an answer.
What else? Is there any mention of plotting? Is there any mention of a group? This is one scribe who would have been a teacher himself, who is coming to Jesus and asking this question.
He's not trying to trip him up.
He's not trying to trip him up, and I don't know if he became a follower of Christ, but he certainly agreed with Jesus' answer. So why do you think everyone was too intimidated to ask more questions of Jesus after this incident? Yes.
Well, I said, like, Jesus could have been implying that this guy was gonna die soon, because like when I heard that, I thought, oh, this guy's gonna die, because like when you die, you go to heaven. So I don't know. That's where my brain was. But then also like that Jesus had the authority to say something like that, because to everyone else he was just some guy, and then for him to say they're going to heaven, it's a lot.
I see what you're saying there. I think there's more to that.
Tying it along with the other thing, I feel like they didn't want their faith to be called out. Like if they asked a silly question, they didn't want to be like, "Oh, like you're an idiot." Like, don't ask me that question.
Yeah. What else?
I was gonna say, I think like the people realizing how great Jesus was and like how wise like he actually was, so that it will probably be kind of scary to realize, wow, actually, like the Son of God. Actually, what ask questions of the Son of God? I don't disrespect you or
Right.
yeah.
Stand up, you was
Good. Yes,
This has nothing to do with depression, but
that's okay.
isn't it kind of ironic that one section later he's talking about how to beware of the scribe?
Yeah. In general, maybe not. It's not saying beware of that scribe, but yeah, there were good scribes and bad scribes. It would be like there'd be a big difference if you told a new student, "Man, beware of the cornerstone teachers," or you just said, "Beware of Mrs. Keyser." There's no way around her. You have her for 3 years. Okay, so this is fundamentally different, isn't it, than the other two. And I think that that the people would have, we don't see the Jewish leaders coming back again. I think they figured out, well, we're not going to win this argument. But this one is fundamentally different. This question is, I believe, sincere, and that he is really wanting to know what Jesus' answer is to that. I think he has in his own heart and mind an answer. Others were looking for a specific answer. This one was looking for what does Jesus think about this? I know what I think about this, but what do you think about this?
Like just the general conference between two scholars.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. So did Jesus do something to scare them, or did they have another reason?
Well, based on my earlier answer, I said they weren't scared because like Jesus did anything. Like I don't think Jesus did it intentionally to be scary. But like those are some pretty ominous words that just kind of make you go, oh, and you don't really want to say anything after that.
Right, yeah. Anytime something happens and you get really embarrassed in front of people, you're like, I'm doing that again. That's the last time I do that. Yes. Yeah. What other dumb question can we ask them? That they don't want to do that. I think they probably realized that he was, no matter what they asked, he was going to give an answer that was brilliant and they wouldn't. They just look foolish again. And they probably knew that. Now, John 12:2-8 is the story of Jesus' anointing. We're going to go through these questions, but I think you're pretty familiar with the passage, so I don't think we need to read it beforehand. So, if you were an observer when Mary anointed Jesus' feet, and remember that she let down her hair, right? And this nard was very expensive. And so, if you were an observer, would you have sided with Judas or Mary?
Mary.
Probably, yeah.
Oh, I would say like in the middle, because it probably would have been like kind of weird. Like, why are you wasting all this stuff and like, be but then at the same time, like after.
Let's make it this way. Would you have been offended? Or would you, not being Judas, like, because there's several things that you could be offended by, not just what Judas was offended by. Or would you be like, that's, yeah.
If I were
Yeah, go ahead.
if I were a Jewish person at the time, I probably would have been offended. I mean, Jesus would have been offended, but I'm sure all of the Jewish people there were offended by that.
Or at least,
Yeah.
Laura?
I was gonna say it's kind of hard to answer, but I'd probably just sit there and kind of be like in the middle ground and be like, oh, that's kind of cool. And like, that, but also be like, oh, that's a good point, Judas. How are you like,
Yeah. Yes.
No, it's just somewhere in the middle too. Like, I would be like, with Judas half the way. So like, she could anoint him, but like, it's fine. Like, anoint him, whatever. Like, you're just like, if I was a Jewish person, I'd be like, she's a little crazy, you know. But like, she doesn't need all that oil. She could have used like a little bit to anoint Jesus, and like, we would have gotten over it eventually. And like the rest of it, like 1/4 for anointing, and then like the rest of it could have been sold.
You just made me think of something. I wonder what Mary, or what Martha.
Martha,
That would be a better question. That's an interesting question, isn't it?
Martha's like full Holy Mary.
Yeah.
Martha's not like
I think she'd be embarrassed.
Yeah.
She's like, Mary, what is she doing?
I know.
In front of the master.
I would for sure side with Judas, not because of the money, right? But just how inappropriate it was. Like, letting your hair down, touching his feet, and like, I don't know. It's just, and like the fact that she actually had like perfume, and I don't know. It just seems really, really, and like, but
And if it was a family heirloom and she didn't tell, now the baby sister is really in trouble, right? Heaven.
Well, I agree with Nancy, but then I'd be really confused after you just responded because you would think that, like, I guess because of the past and what she's doing, you discuss this, and be like, okay, no, let's not do that.
what's her past?
Well, like,
Mary.
Oh, that's not Mary Magdalene.
oh,
A different Mary. Different Mary. Yeah.
no way, still a girl, kind of weird.
That is not his wife.
Aaron.
Just said the question.
And it also seems like something Jesus would do, right? He wouldn't let someone pour out all that nard on him, and if it could have been. Yes.
So I noticed in 2 of the 3 passages it says the disciples said that I think John's the only one who pointed out Judas, and that I think the intentions they wouldn't have known that Judas' intentions at that point.
Right. And I'm sure there were others that were like, no, it's not wrong. Yeah.
Judas is just that one friend who used to be in the friend group, but no one is anymore.
Yeah.
And that's at this point.
He's only there because he's been grandfathered in.
Yes.
Do you think that like John knew, like that? Because like if Judas betrayed them and then he committed suicide, but like how if? Because I wouldn't imagine that they would have very much contact with Judas after the fact of him betraying them, because you just don't. But also you just don't
When you go
contact
to
people
you're
who
right.
you're when you've been betrayed by. So do you think that John knew, like before he betrayed, that Judas had been dipping his hands into the money pockets?
I think that might have been
Or like a suspicion?
understood afterward. I think
But how would you
I
understand
think
that
in hindsight.
They're like, oh, that's where that money went.
Yeah. Yes.
John, right?
Yeah,
It's like a lot later.
Right.
So that's probably why he
80
mentioned
So
Judas,
this is-
because he knew that Judas already betrayed him. Already
Right.
This is all after they all hate Judas now.
Right. Right. Okay, and then this is the last question. How is your life characterized by that motivation? I don't even know what that means.
I don't know.
I don't know either. I just put polymer is example.
Yeah.
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 That's good. Just say, oh, Mary's example. That's a good answer. Excellent job here. I am going to start a little bit of the lecture. I think we have time to start a little bit of the lecture. That'll help because the other class won't talk as much as usual. But I'm gonna stop this.
They don't give as many good answers.